Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about some of the breaking news that has come out. Some big things have been announced over the past sort of 24 hours. We're going to start with Oleksandr Usyk. Now he has requested an extension in negotiations for the bout with Joseph Parker. The WBO ordered Usyk to begin negotiations for a mandatory title defense against Joseph Parker on July 24th. This is big because I think it prompts the fact that the next fight is going to be Oleksandr Usyk versus Joseph Parker. If Usyk had no plans on fighting Parker, he would just settle through his injury, vacate the belt, which he'd have to vacate anyway, and move on. For him to stall the negotiation talks and hold Parker up and want an extension on this makes me feel that the next guy we're going to see Usyk fight is Parker. If he wasn't going to, you'd just vacate, like I said. The other thing that this now prompts is Joseph Parker. What does he do? We're now in August. I don't know how long Usyk wants an extension for, but we're probably looking at the earliest next year. Does Joseph Parker want to be sat on the sidelines for this long without fighting? His last fight was that fight against Bacoli in February. For me, I think it would be very silly of Joseph Parker to be sat stagnant for 12, 14, 15 months not fighting. I don't really care who it's against. It can be against someone really easy. It can be against someone as hard as Ajit Kabayel. I don't care who it is. I think it's best for Joseph Parker for him to stay active. He's looked very good recently, staying active. I don't think he'll want to let all that hard work go, sitting around waiting for Usyk. Look, if Joseph Parker doesn't take a fight and waits for Usyk to make sure he gets that fight, I think it plays more into Usyk's hand. Not that he's playing for this through saying that he's injured, but I think Joseph Parker needs to stay active. To be honest, he probably should just fight Ajit Kabayel. You beat Kabayel, that's a big level opponent that you're going to get ready for to fight Usyk. If you lose to him, we know that Parker was not going to go in there and do anything spectacular against Usyk, I believe. And you also put behind you another opponent that might be contesting for a position against Usyk. You say, well, I'm better than this guy anyway. Give me this fight. I think Parker should have had it. Look, it should have all been resolved. Parker versus Dubois. Dubois gets injured. I think Parker should have went in beforehand, but Dubois gets the shout. It's Joseph Parker's turn. I'll let you guys know in the next few days if we get any sort of inkling of how long Usyk's going to be out. But I'd love to hear from you guys who you think Joseph Parker should fight to stay busy whilst waiting for Oleksandr Usyk. Because in my opinion, Usyk is going to fight Joseph Parker based off of this news. The other bit of news I want to talk about is Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Erickson Lubin are finalizing a deal for an October 18th junior middleweight fight in the US on DAZN. This according to Ring Magazine. Now, a few hours later, I saw this courtesy of Supreme Boxing. There remain a few barriers before Virgil Ortiz Jr. Erickson Lubin can become a reality, including a Friday afternoon deadline for top-ranked WBO champion Xander Zayas to offer to fight Ortiz. What would be the better fight? Now, this brings up an interesting thing because if it comes down to Xander Zayas picking his fight and he wants Virgil Ortiz, I think he makes it. I think if he's worried about what Virgil Ortiz offers, he declines this offer. Which fight would I prefer to see? I mean, I think we'd all prefer to see Xander Zayas fight Virgil Ortiz. That is a massive fight. Could you imagine if Virgil Ortiz, right? Now, this isn't my prediction. I'm just putting it out there. This could happen. Virgil Ortiz goes... He's beaten Madrimov last. He then goes and beats Xander Zayas and then goes and takes on Jerome Boutsenis. That is the buildings of a very, 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 very high rated fighter in Virgil Ortiz. At the same time, you could see Xander Zayas beating Virgil Ortiz because I think Xander Zayas is very, very good. If I was to guess what will happen, I would assume that it's imminent that we're going to see Virgil Ortiz versus Erickson Lubin later this year, and then we're going to see Virgil Ortiz take on Jerome Boutsenis next year. Jerome Boutsenis, I would expect him to get through Lima and then take on Virgil Ortiz as well. I don't think Virgil Ortiz Jr. will want that Xander Zayas fight, and I'm not sure whether Xander Zayas will right now want that Virgil Ortiz fight. Zayas to fight in October against Virgil Ortiz, is that a quick turnaround? It probably is. It probably is too quick, I would assume. So I would think we're going to see Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Erickson Lubin next. Xander Zayas, probably December, January, in my opinion. Alright guys, leave all your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and I'm out of here guys. See ya!